And you're saying, well, what's a lost iPad? Good question, because that you talked for 2 hours and that was the name of the one before this one here. What did you mean by that, old Nicky boy? And you're like, Well, you said, well, so what? Because I got accused again of being taken over Tommy's iPad. So I'm thinking that's where they're at right now. They think either A, they're going to show me a lesson. They want to, they try, what are you trying to teach me, boundaries or something? Or mostly I think that, remember I talked briefly, I think he's trying to piss me off. Yeah, he did that. Because I didn't, you know how I stopped calling him and wasting my time and letting him get his jollies off. Remember that? I'm like, lost iPad. Now, when this happened like right away, and I'm guessing now. Remember, I only stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. I'm guessing. So what it is it's a government Department of Defense Verizon iPad, and they sent it to Thomas Ewald Hokanen. Remember that guy that ain't had a drink in 50 years, but he's going to star in Grumpy Old Men 3 with no audition required? Yeah, that guy. Who I need to go bring him his egg pretty quick? Him up there? Yeah. So he gets this box in the mail, apparently, and of course, because he's a real, so he's not, he's one of them real special liberal guys. See, if you talk to my daddy, okay, now ask me a question. Would my daddy ever be caught dead in the house, sleeping over or hanging out with one of his ex-wives and their husband? The answer to that is a affirmative no. And most people would find that a little awkward, a little strange, but not your real good far left wing radical. Can I say tutti frutti? Or are they gonna get mad? The tutti fruttis? Oh, bad boy, he's throwing popcorn at it. He's going, what about you? You're gonna make a good housewife, ain't you? Where's my tomatoes? I need to make some more sauce. No, I'm talking like that is just, it's one thing to be kosher, right? And be, especially if you got kids, which he don't, except for me. But remember, he was never a disciplinarian because he's kind of smart. He figured out, hey, I don't want this kid to like run me over with an 18-wheeler, so I'm mostly gonna be his friend. Yeah, that one. So he was a dad. He was he was a protector. A good. He was my dad. He's like my dad. One papa, two papa. Yeah, that kind of like that. So, but there's some. Remember them thing where something getting fishy? Yeah. Look, kids. If your stepdaddy that was married to your mama and she been remarried, and your childhood best buddy that picked you up from the gates of hell about 50 times and otherwise you'd be dead, gave you $20 here and there, you went to about 10,000 movies at Coon Rapids Theater where you saw Ryan Faulkner one time with his Viking cheerleader girlfriend and he was like, hey, remember that time old Bubba let you come up and hang out with me and all them guys and the CEO of Cool up there at St. Cloud State when I was going to remember that. Hey, how you doing, little buddy? Take care. We'll see you. Oh, remember that? How you used to come over and sit with me. We had dinner a few times at my mother's house with old Kung Fu after he stole my mama. Yeah, that guy. And you're like, well, where did this iPad come from? You're like, well, the doctor issued it so he could do uh, video visits. And And you wonder why. Okay, so John Victor Shima III still was unsuccessful in getting that to work for him, but apparently that's why he was over there. And so if you're wondering, because they're both nurses, so that makes sense, that part. But sleeping over is one thing. Hey, how you doing? Hey, come on over and I got a little food, and I know you live there with Nick, and how you doing? You're getting old. Stop by, say hi, go fishing, look at but you want to spend the night now? No, no. You're remarried and all that stuff, and something getting fishy there. Okay, I'm just saying. But anyway, so the doctor sends them an iPad. Okay, y'all remember that Bill Gates and stuff like. Generally, in the past, I would feel like since I grew up on Microsoft, and you got that Bill Gates guy that's been married there about 50 years to Melinda or something. They seem like pretty nice people. Yeah, I tend to gravitate towards the married people. So I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with this. I tend to like to be around them a little bit more than them guys across the street smoking pot with a drunk single mama playing nasty rap music outside my house, calling police on me. Yeah, I try to stay away from them. Yeah, so I never used an iPad. Remember, other than Sandy's, Hurricane Sandy, and that was for about 5 minutes, about 5 seconds. And I had one friend that had parents get it to him for graduating from the University of Minnesota. Remember that? He had one of them. And so they're different. And so I was a little curious. Did you think that this is now your iPad? No. Is this a problem with your boundaries again? Like they're trying to say no. Is this Tom has no idea and can't understand why it every once a week you ask for his phone because it's on your network and you're running the internet security. And oh, by the way, you can send a rocket to the moon with these little things. And then they're trying to get it down to, pretty soon they'll get it down to this, and then you don't have to worry about me resetting your phone and cookies and killing your cache once in a while. But until then, every so often we need to do that and reset the network, even for a moron like me. And now you want to put the iPad on there too, right? Because you want to talk to your doctor. And old Victor Shima, which his remember this guy's dad was a pharmacist in Hastings, married to B for 100 years. He's got that brother down there sending rockets to the moon down there in Iowa, some kind of engineer. Remember that? He's a pretty smart guy. Okay. And he can't seem to get this government issued app. I mean, there's only a couple apps on there, and I know it's Apple, but you got a few brain cells, right? You're doing derivatives, but you can't get old Tommy. You can't get his iPad going so he can do a video visit with his doctor during his virus. And you wondering why I am resetting a phone and killing the cache and the cookies. Yeah, remember a couple bridges I got to sell? Keep talking. We going to the downs. So I said, hey, are you over there talking about my boundary issues or something? Oh, no, we wouldn't do that. Is Mama over there two-fisted? She got two cigarettes burning, don't she? Trying to figure out who need to be on some medication again. No, we would never. We're just fishing. We're gonna go ice fishing. And you're gonna spend the night over at and my lawyer won't tell me that, and they keep making this stuff up here. And oh, by the way, yeah, old Tommy boy, he'll get pretty excited, not quite like Dudley when them crappies get biting, but he ain't going deer hunting, if you get what I'm putting down. So we get this iPad, right? Look at this. Look, watch this, folks. You remember how I said I can't win? The bottom line is, okay, so I got an iPad up there that says lost iPad. Please contact IT department to unlock. There is one phone number to the Department of Defense IT department. There's a sticker that says Verizon on the back. The first question the guy asked me the last time I talked to him, is this your iPad? And for sake, look, Tom has me as I have been. He will not. Look, if he needs to do something, like if he wonders why a bill or this or that, he asks me to do it. And so over the years, the last 25, I've just, because he, remember, he don't want to listen to, I'm the guy that, since the 5 gals, I'm your emotion. So that's the one benefit I've noticed a woman will probably appreciate. Remember? Because the guy, when you come home, the last thing you want to do is grab a beer and that remote. And if you ever ask me why you got a divorce, I don't want to talk to you. Okay? You do not do that, gentlemen. No. Not if you want to stay married. You want old Kung Fu Ray-Ban to come along and say, hey, honey, what you want to do? Yeah. Remember that old thing about cherishing women? Yeah, I picked up on a few things along the way here. You're saying, oh, you're getting a lot of sidebars going here again. Let's get focused again, Nicky boy. And I say, okay, look. You see? So I got this iPad. And this happened one other time. So basically, where we're at, we've got an IT guy at the Department of Defense, probably a little tiny Timmy boy, one of Langer's boys, messing with me. Because they want to get me, remember, drunk, mostly angry. Because they know they can't get me drunk. They know they can't get me naked. So their last resort, they know I'm not crazy because you're watching my videos. So their last resort, they're at the anger. Remember that gal up there at the library? She said she couldn't talk to me right there because she wanted to post me up in the auditorium for the entire government complex to view. So they'd really have something good to show people, right? Yeah, remember that? So this guy's trying to piss me off, and he was, I'm thinking, look, if you're gonna do this to a guy like me, so you said, well, it's like that pipe bomb outside the house there, and the black police officer that we don't have in Forest Lake, and a bunch of guys that I wish can somebody at least get Excel to come out and replace that so I can sell this place one day, please? Look, I ran the back. Look, that is like a job. Okay, we got a gas leak, and we don't want to shut everybody's gas off right now. It's cold and stuff. But we'll be out within, it's been like 2 months. We'll be out there to put it's getting a little old. They only cost about $50. We get a real good discount because we buy a whole lot of them at a time. And you've been here for 10 years and you're in Forest Lake. And this is a pretty decent, remember, $220,000 supposed to be. They're charging me. That old mayor down there want to get for her taxes. I think I deserve a meter that don't look like that. What do you say? Can we have a talk about that one? And I'm saying, so this guy, so the iPad came a while back, and it's designed only for veterans to, talk to their doctors whenever they need to. That's obvious. It's on an iPad contracted through Verizon, right? Listen to how bad this guy is. This is why I want to call the Lincoln lawyer. Okay. This little pinhead, little tiny Timmy says to me, and you can tell he's flying rockets to the moon. I know you can fly rockets to the moon, but you ain't fooling me, Tiny Timmy. And I'm saying, I already called a couple weeks ago, And so I started setting the laptop up. Okay. You can't download any app. I mean, you want to talk about control. And this laptop does not even need to be plugged in. That's where we're at with technology. And this guy wants me to call Verizon. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm calling Lincoln Lawyer next. And I'm thinking, fix my problem, dude. It's my dad's laptop. The reason I say look, I'm not. I save myself, you know how many 5 minutes at time authenticating identity by just saying, yeah, I'm Tom? How many thousands of phone calls he's asked me to do, not because I'm possessive or I don't have boundaries, because he wants to sit up there and watch ESPN and not say another word. That's why he got a divorce. Not because of his drinking problem, because you can't do that with women. You know, remember their people, but you got to love them and not the ESPN and the remote. You can't worship that remote. You got to worship her. Or otherwise, old Ray-Ban gonna come along with them post-it notes and you go, well, this beer here, I mean, this ain't so good unless it's cold, and now it's to get me in a lot of trouble. And where'd half my kingdom go? And there's old Bob Goff go out there getting a flower. Yeah, we going to the downs, homie. So you're like, hey, yeah, cheap cheese. And you say, what? You say, oh, you got another story where you're upset again. Yep. Because now he can't use it. And I know it's the IT guys just messing with me. So we got it. Because when I first called, it sounded to me it was kind of Asian. Remember that whole thing, old Anthony Edward Ho, kind of Asian, native? I seem to get along with them guys until they won't do their job and tell me what's up. And I got to pay you, and then I got to go do your job. I start getting a little irritated. And so I had to call. That happened one time. And this is what, look, remember, I'm not that smart. I'm just guessing. If I've got a piece of equipment that sends rocket to the moon, it's from the most powerful military on the entire planet for the last 50 years. And it doesn't need to be plugged in to stay charged. And you want me to call Verizon, little Timmy, tiny Timmy boy? I got some bridges. Remember them steps spelled down Oceanside? Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm mad now. This ain't got nothing to do with boundaries. It got to do with now he can't even use it. And they're trying to bull butter us and say, oh, you got to get a new. And no, you need to unlock it at the IT department. That's all. This ain't got nothing to do with Verizon. I'm not retarded, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express, not with William Shatner. And so now, but it happened at first, and it's probably because they got some detect. You know, if you've got a piece of thing like this that doesn't need to be charged, it's owned by the United States military. Remember them guys? They probably might have some kind of software detection system to realize, is this an 80-year-old guy, or did somebody steal one of our iPads again? Mm-hmm. So apparently there's some sort of software that's probably picking up on my voice, and it don't. And it's like, that's what y'all done. That's what I'm guessing. Or there's two options: that or Tiny Timmy. Okay, there ain't nothing wrong with that laptop. But it says lost iPad. And trust me, if you sound like Tiny Timmy and you're working for the United States Department of Defense with them there's only, you know what that means. If I'm calling that number on the back of that phone, you know damn well what that means. And quit wasting my time and pissing me off. I got other stuff to do. So yeah, I set the laptop up. He don't have an email, remember? So I used mine. I was going to make him an additional account, but he took it and took it over to Mr. brainiac over there that spent 5 hours. He can do derivatives, but he couldn't figure out how to get Tommy on that screen with his doctor. You wonder why I wanna? You wonder why I'm mad, my Lori? No, you ain't. And so that's why I did. And I sent a couple test emails because I've never used the iPad. It's a little different than Windows. And you can't down, and it's controlled and operated by that little tiny Timmy I was talking about, right? Why he turned it off so you can't get into it. And then he wants to tell me that he gets his little jollies off and his little tiny Timmy off, saying, "Oh, I'll reset it," and then it locked right up. And now Tommy can't even use it, but I'll let it go. There ain't nothing wrong with that laptop, other than you gotta get little tiny Timmy to quit playing around and unlock it. You don't need to go back. It's fine. And Tom would, since he couldn't get old point, Shima in his. Maybe I could because I'm the guy that knows it's a good idea to reset the network. Oh, maybe every 24 hours or so. Probably not a bad idea. Remember, we got them guys. We don't got them guys in the white hoods anymore. We got them guys in the black hoods. And it starts with an A. That's anonymous. And they tend not to like this thing here. Oh, and and you remember them guys' name? Well, what's the name? Pinky. Yeah, them guys. They're pretty much friends with them guys, and they really don't like this. Remember that? They pretty much run this thing here. Yeah, you don't want to piss them guys off. So it ain't a bad idea. Remember how you can't look. You used to be able to get in the computer and at least like squirt some of this here. Can't do that no more. You think, well, how about can I change the battery? It's getting can I go? Because I mean, I don't have to be real smart to do. Nope, we won't let you do that because there's 50,000 screws that you ain't got. No, you ain't got, and you can't even find it up at the hardware store. You got to go talk to them anonymous guys and get their permission to buy one. Uh-huh. And you want me to call Verizon? We going to the downs, homie. What's up? And all you want to do is piss me off. I mean, I knew it right away, but I gave you 5 minutes. If you think I'm calling you again, no. But now you got it so he can't use it. But that's fine, because all they looking for is they want to post me up like that little girl down there who ain't even old enough to remember. Hey, if you even thought about eating, they'd bring in the SWAT team on you, and you're over there in the corner watching that guy do that, and all your friends. And you worried about me throwing me out, having that old pretty gal cop that she married? Because trust me, she's pretty, and I'll be like, sure, you want to come and talk to me? But no, I'm sorry, honey. You have to forgive me. I don't have a real good track record going lately with y'all police officers. If you don't mind, could you drop that in the mail for me, sweetie? Are you married? I can't remember. But you real look good looking. And I'd like to talk to you, sure. And it's kind of cool seeing a gal, a real good looking gal with a gun. I mean, I don't know. Is that just me or is that, huh? Yeah? You want to talk about an aphrodisiac? We don't need no oysters, honey. I'm going to get old half the kingdom. We're going to go down there and I'm going to watch her shoot a gun. Yeah. And when she get home, she's going to get them little sticks out and get in the dress for me. And you wondering why I got post-it notes, pink highlighters, and I'm going out and getting her a flower every morning? Come on, boys. Hey, so this guy here messing with me, right? Kofi. And you're saying, Well, we've kind of noticed you're as an only child, and if you do a little research, Nick, and not only does part of you die when parents die, and you kind of have a low skill set. And remember that tiny Timmy, he don't really like you, and he's going to keep messing with you. And there's not a lot we can do about it because he runs that IT department over there, and you don't seem to be very well at getting along with people, and so we've noticed you're a little possessive, and we want to try to teach you some boundaries and some like. And I'm thinking it's got nothing to do with that iPad there, other than I've been managing Tommy's accounts by request because. If he has to do that, not only does he get really frustrated, he's got that little memory problem starting. And then all he wants to do is hold that remote, not talk to anybody, and watch that TV there. So he enjoys me managing his accounts. And usually in the past, used to about before they had the voice detection and remember this, the iris, you used to kind of just say, "Yes, this is Thomas. Thank you." They didn't call in the SWAT team and send you over to fraud detection, right? And have to verify. And then now I'm spending more time than it would be with him. And so usually I'll just a lot of times not his bank accounts or anything serious, just TV stuff like that. I'll be like, yeah, it's Thomas Hoken. All right, so well, why didn't you? We've got another cross examination here for you, Nicky boy. Why didn't you think it? Put your own, make an email for him. Well, for some reason, I've tried that about 100,000 times, and I can't get him to use that any email system in the last 50 years. So what I've found is if he's got something very important, I just use my email. Like, oh, you mean like maybe the Golden Valley reunion so he would get it every year? And instead of the guys going, hey, why did you miss last year? We sent you a message to your email. Oh, you got that nice, lovable, compassionate Nicky boy. Oh, we'll send it to his email. That's a good idea, little tiny Timmy. I think you should stop messing with me and turn that iPad back on and stop wasting everybody's time and money thinking trying to convince me it's got something to do with Verizon or you need a new one. And you wonder why I'm irritated? Not because I can't use that laptop. Sure, yes, there is a mild amount of interest because I've always been told that Apple's more secure, and I'm starting to wonder if even though Bill Gates is a family man, I'm starting to wonder if I'm really his friend or not, and maybe they're down the road. If I've got the money, I perhaps would be open, especially if half the kingdom says that's all we're using. Uh, I'd be open to it. So I was a little curious since I've never used one, and I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. It's You can't download anything, but at least you get an idea of the operating system. Sure, and since I'm going managing your accounts, creating an email so I can help you get on there because old Victor Shima can't do it after 15 hours, and he's pretty much sending rockets to the moon with derivatives. And I'm thinking, maybe they won't think I'm have boundary issues if I just make an email and take a little peek here at this iPad here once in a while. Of course not, because so that's the story behind why that iPad says lost. It's not lost. You've got either a detection system that thinks it was stolen, and now somebody was like, I can't get in here, and they threw it on the floor, and now they're hoping the U.S. government is trying to save a little money that somebody will turn it in, and then they'll issue it to somebody, and there's not a thing wrong with it. All you got to do is get Tiny Timmy to unlock it. I'll tell you what the odds are. The odds that there's really something wrong with that laptop are the same odds that there needed to be 5 guys outside my house at 10 a.m. on a Monday morning for over 4 hours doing work that would have only required 5 minutes or a half hour. Yeah, we're talking about the same thing. So the only thing I can think of, I mean, there's only a couple options, right? I mean, they absolutely hate this, and ho and all them. There's a little bit they don't like, kind of slow, stupid. The old glazed over cat eyes. That old bad boy wants to put you down. Yeah, I'd like you to see that. Say that about my old grandma Rose. You know, the one that lived to be at 150. Bad boy. Yeah, her eyes were glazed over, all right. But all her faculties were there till she was about 150. Yeah, keep talking, bad boy. Remember them little white balls? Yeah. And I'm pretty much kosher with the pinkies. Don't agree with it, but they don't hate my guts. And if you're real nice, they'll give you soup. So, I don't know. Why a nice guy, though, that you like is all friendly with a 30-time felon and pretty soon ain't gonna have any money to pay you. And you take care of that little rat, and you won't even tell me the implications of my case. And when I call you, you're about to add another restraining order on me? And you wonder I'm a little curious and irritated why Tiny Timmy gets to lock that laptop up and think I'm stupid enough to call Verizon? No. So, whatever. That's sad. You know, I don't mind Butcher Bob, you know, he wasn't very smart. How that guy get a federal, I mean, they must really, really be down to bushwhackers and Woodies over that way. If the federal government is trusting that guy to figure out who ought to have a gun or not. But you know, when you lose a friend, when you lose a lawyer, how can you trust a lawyer? And you really ain't got anybody else to call, and them polar bears are like, yeah, we got them where we want them now. All we got to do is, you know, but you get to, I'm at the point where it's like, well, I'm not willing to, like, accept somebody that's going to let my life be ruined just so the polar bear doesn't hurt me. Remember that all lose this life for that life and that life, and the first is last and the last is first and all. I mean, I didn't like, I'll tell you, it didn't feel good when I was not able to call up Vincent Waters and say, hey, maybe I can get on a little payment plan. How you doing? You got that BMW and that cigar? You want to go to a meeting? I know you don't want to, but will you? I got a few dollars here for you, and I'll pay you a little bit each paycheck. Remember that? And he went, and all of a sudden he's dead. That didn't feel good. I always wanted to, and probably, to be honest, yeah, it probably would have been one where he wouldn't have done it. Because most people, I found, whether it's Alexis Hughes or Carrie Platt, you know, like when people move on in their own lives and you were a part of their life, it ain't just about you. It's just that there's only so much time and they're doing other things. They got new boyfriends and wives and husbands and kids. They don't have time and they're not interested. They ain't seen you for 20 years and then you borrowed $1,200 or he got you out of jail and I understand, but it would have been nice when I couldn't even when I found out he was dead or allegedly. You can't get a hold of that guy. At least I can't. I felt bad, and I feel bad about this, but I'd rather feel bad about that and take my chances than have had to what would have happened. All because you think my eyes are glazed over, bad boy, or something. Because I guarantee they're not. And you got my attention. Not saying anything other than that. But you do, you get to a point where you realize, okay, all the polar bears that are here, they're gonna eat you. Ain't nothing okay. But ain't no sense to worry too much about it. When they get hungry enough and they eat you or they decide to let you, you know, they decide to eat something else or something, well, like the Bible says, today's got what? There's enough to worry about. The worry for today is sufficient. Forget about tomorrow. We can't do anything about it. And we got enough to worry about in the next. Forget it. Don't worry about tomorrow. We don't even know if it's going to get there. Right? Amen. Oh, Anthony, look at that zealot, man. He's something. Wow. Oh, he is an extremist. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that guy anymore. No. Then that's sad. You know? I know there's a lot of cool guys out there, but you're like, this is one of the few guys that I've been, within 6 feet of, right? That, hey, you're pretty cool. A lot cooler than me, and I like you, man. I wish you'd tell me what's going on here so I don't get really pissed off and never want to talk to you again. I know we might never go fishing, but hey, can't we kind of stay sort of acquaintances in case I ever get in a car accident and need to call you, maybe? But apparently, people they get preconceived ideas that about people because they're in the CIA and they got all the secret microphones and cameras, and then they're like, "Oh, I just can't like this guy or something." But they let that other weirdo up there watch porn in front of children, and they don't seem to nobody in the county. And you can't convince me that they didn't see it. And you can't they're not gonna say, well, whatever, man. This is a sick world. And I'm like, it appears like the real Jeffrey Dahmers. I'm like, way down here. Yeah. But they want to convince you I'm right there, borderline with, gonna turn into a Jeffrey Dahmer, say. Mostly probably because of this right here. You remember that? Can't fillet a fish? Mm-hmm. I'll report, you decide. Old Hector Kingdom, she's sitting out there. She's like, honey, you really need to try to be a little bit more your delivery, honey, sweetie. You got to work on your delivery. The content, your materials, okay. She's thinking, but you're going to kind of turn them off the way you're talking, and you got to try to be a little more gentle, sweetie. And then I think you're going to reach more people. Yes, dear. Thank you, honey, for that advice. I love you too. Whatever you say. Yes, dear. Oh, and by the way, when I get done with this, honey, where's that honeydew live? I need to go into town and get that stuff you wanted, and then after that, I'll be home. I want you to be. Don't worry about cooking tonight. I'll take care of that every night. You just relax there, and what you say you like them crime movies or investigations, and let me go on there and find one of them for you, sweetie. I get a couple of them taped for you. You just relax. You remember them little sticks like that about this? I'll go up and get some extra yarn too, so you don't run out of none of that. You sit right there and relax. You put your knees up, cause huh? Yeah. When Daddy get back, he's gonna remember old Mama had me posted up front about three. Everybody in the state of Minnesota saw me had to give my Mama back. Oh, you're gonna get one of them too. Yeah, for about 2 hours. Then when I get done with that, I'm gonna run you by a hot bubble bath. You're gonna sit in there for about an hour. Mm-hmm. And that dinner, it's gonna be ready waiting for you when you get done. Mm-hmm. But don't forget, after that, you gotta go back. I want you to put a dress on and get them little sticks out again for a while for me. Would you do that, sweetie pie? Yeah. We're going to the dams. See, no, I'm just playing. That's way too. That would be like my dad. My dad would like do that and he'd be serious. So that whole 5 women thing, that's my mom was trying to bring that down a notch, and she did. But we got this thing called nature, right? Yeah, try to fight that. hmm So we're trying to keep a right, nice cruising altitude. But it's frustrating with all these little tiny Timmies because it's real tricky to balance. I mean, they either don't like you because of the way you talk, and you want a gal in a dress. Oh, they ain't a whole lot. I don't even want her to cook. I just want her to dry. I'll do the cooking. Will you just put the dress on, sweetie pie, all the way down to the floor? No, yeah. Some of them they like to see the ankles. No, all the way down to that floor. Hmm? And you just relax, honey. I'll do most of the housework. I ain't a housewife. I just love and cherish my hefty kingdom. hmm Yeah, and the Bible says I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to please you, and nobody gets to call it clinging no more. Old Tiny Timmy and Langer ain't going to say, oh, there's clingy boy. No, you shall leave your husband and wife and become one flesh. You're like, you just need some friends. No, I don't know. I don't want no friends. I just want to have the king. You're my friend now, honey. Yeah, we like best friends. Yeah, you know them shirts that say I'm with him and she with me. Yeah, we're gonna have a couple of them. Huh? We're gonna make sure old Big Don, he real clear who my woman is. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But my dad, I must have got that from my dad, huh? I do like a girl in a dress all the way to the ground. And if she carrying a couple of these things around, them little sticks and some yarn, yo, look out. Y'all guys, you know the only thing better than a gal that remember she had the braces. You know she's in her 20s and so you got a lot of them, or even they're older. They're like they never had the braces and then they get the they're like I never did have that one and we didn't have the money. I think I'll try that now. Yeah, you'll see a few of them. And you're like, what's better than a gal in braces carrying a box with a clarinet, wearing a dress, and she got some of them sticks like that there? You're like, it can't get much better than that, right? Oh yeah. Wait for it. What's he got? She got them glasses. You know, the ones about that thick there, you know, for when she like to read and send them rockets back to the moon. Now we're talking. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You're like, did he just say that? Don't we have some kind of terms of service against that, people? Probably not. Oh, the other one I'm pretty frustrated. Why did I mention this? Martha McSally, and I don't know her. From what I understand, first female Miss American Pie. Ain't gonna send a rocket to the moon, but boy, I guess she in the Air Force. First female fighter pilot or something to do with something down that way where, oh, remember, you don't have to deal with Hoyer. They say, hey, oh, by the way, we got this thing called the Second Amendment. Oh, and by the way, we know you ain't a housewife, but I tell you what, if you piss off old Joe Orpile, you know that guy that's been sheriff for about 1,000 years? If you piss him off, he gonna, hey, you don't like pink, huh, do you? Well, guess what? Don't come to my jail, because you're getting in pink, man. Hey, there you go. Hey, you don't want to wear pink? Don't break the law. Remember that guy? Huh? Huh? Cheat, cheat. You're like, how did this Mark Kelly? Now, this ain't California. This is Arizona. Remember old Route 66 Tombstone? Huh? Mark Kelly, the astronaut, when his wife, say, remember that? So you got one guy, and we don't even know if he was on drugs, right? It could have been some 1984 mind control. Look, if this thing here can pick up, I'll say, hey, I like them little sticks there from a gal. And all of a sudden, I didn't even touch other than talk. And all of a sudden, I open up Google and it said, hey, we got some of them sticks there on sale, 20% off right down there at Michael's. You got to head that way. And you trying to convince me that mind control 1984 Orwell, like we're gonna take over that through whether it's through conditioning. They say the movies, all them 30,000 years of movies I watched, the evil, filthy, dirty pornography, Hollywood, the devil playing the music backwards. They were putting images to slowly dumb us down with the chloride and all the Breitbart heart attacks and the TVs now and everything they show you. It's manipulating your mind, conditioning you, not only making you stupid, but it's getting to the point so we can control you, is what they say, right? So basically, they got into that guy's mind, or he was tweaked out on meth, and one guy decided to go to now a political thing without any guards or whatever, and went up and shot his wife, and now she got a yeah. And sure, you got Columbine. Yeah, okay. And then remember, I took that statistics class. So okay, old Mike Lindell, he's on to a little something. I don't know how much he on to. We got that thing called material. Material. I don't know how much. And then you get like, look, if we got these people on the internet saying there's baby parts in the vaccine, remember them weirdos? Is it possible that if there's a black guy that they intercepted and say, hey, we'll take it from here? I never seen a black police officer in Forest Lake. Or they staged a massacre, or oh, what did they say, 9/11? Yeah, these buildings here are pretty old and it's pretty expensive to knock them down. We gotta like all them people there. They're not gonna have a job anymore, and they're gonna be really really pissed off. And they got the boom boom too, and like the whole world runs around that. And so just like shutting that down because we feel like the bathroom's kind of dirty, and we feel like putting up some new buildings now. Probably a better idea. We just blow them up and blame it on some terrorists so we can go over there and take their oil or something like that. Yeah, that's an idea. That ain't what happened, but I could, I mean, Remember them five? Bring five to the table. I want to hear real serious. You better be talking about. You got about 1 minute in that elevator with me, and you got about 30 seconds to explain something that normally takes a half hour. And if you can't do it, you ain't never gonna see me again. Well, let's bring one or two of them to the table. Let's talk about one. It's really gonna work. Yeah, that thing. And you're like, okay, coffee. And so you say, well, how could a guy like, how can an astronaut? Remember we faked because Buzz Aldrin, before he died, he admitted that, he took maybe one too many hits or something, and then he admitted that that was filmed in Hollywood, that we didn't actually go to the moon. But, hey, and you wonder why I wanted my lawyer to tell me that was butter knives, and you wonder why I might not want to hire him again? And you're like, how did an astronaut guy? Well, we got this thing called, they shut down, NASA. He was kind of out of a job, I guess, or they was kind of consolidating the positions, and they was kind of like, you're not one of them real ones that are sending we got, you're like that old Nicky boy. You kind of got to ask some questions once in a while. Yeah, so you out. We don't need you. We got about 10,000 other guys that are way smarter. You ought to go into, I don't know, politics or something. And he's thinking, okay, well, yeah, I hate now all of a sudden because my wife, one guy, and then maybe one Columbine, and we don't know how many government psyops they created. Because, of course, we don't want a good crisis to go to waste, folks. Remember that? Yeah. We're going to the downs. And you're like, huh? Cheat. And you're like, what? You're like, well, how did he? Well, of all places, the only place left where you could go where it didn't really matter if you was a polar bear. Remember old Steven Seagal? I used to think I'm going down there because if Steven Seagal if he's an honorary sheriff's deputy, and every once in a while he's sitting around on a Friday night and be like, instead of going to the bar, I think I'm gonna go hang out with the boys and arrest some guys just for fun. Yeah, I want to go see that guy. And I'm like, all right, let's check it out. And now he's somewhere. He sold his house. He was in what's that one? Stockdale. So I don't need to go back there. Especially now that Mark Kelly, how does that, what, folks, if you want to, is it over in America? Now, look, I know what it's like. You got to toe that line with them polar bears so they don't eat you. Usually they keep them in them steel bars, and they only let them out when they really want to, like, feed you to them. Otherwise, they watch them pretty well. But you're like, yeah, I'm aware they got some of them down there, but mostly Arizona, anybody, remember that thing? As long as you stay away from the school and kids, like 1,000 feet, yeah, you can pretty much have any kind of gun you want to protect yourself from all these guys. Remember that? We going to the dance. And you're like, huh? Cheat. You're like, what? Keep talking. And you're like, okay. And you're like, well, I want to go down there because, they got all this here because old Hoyer, right? I mean, old Hoyer, he got kids and family, and then we got guys impersonating police officers, and we got all this other stuff that we can't prove. And now they're gonna try to use it. They just did it because they figured if you couldn't get him naked and out there, hey, Plan B, we'll just say he's lying. And look at how psychiatric he is. You can't win unless you're sober. You trust in God. You don't get naked, drunk, and you tell the truth. That's your only chance, obviously. Why? Because they're marching towards that. And you wonder why Steve Lindell's mic going down. You wonder why old Trump is going, hey! But then, hey, don't forget about them poles. We can let them ride out. Hey, we got the keys right here, bro. Keep the uses now, son. Your daddy, he way out, they don't all them white balls, and we got white balls here too. Keep it right there, son. Don't get too wild on us. You're like, yes, sir. Thank you. And you're like, okay, how does Mark Kelly unseat Martha American Pie and it's like American Pie in baseball? Huh. If an astronaut, I tell you what I'm gonna do with Mark Kelly. I say we get a couple of them polar bears on a horn, and we find a one-way ticket back to the International Space Station. You know what I'm saying? And we let old Martha take back over because Arizona, folks. The last place where even a guy that's not a polar bear, it's run mostly by polar bears. You remember that mean guy? He put you in pink if you get out of line. But if you're cool, he's that one that, hey, I'm the polar bear. And we got a bunch more in the back. You be cool. This is our, hey, all that. But otherwise, we got people from all around the world. And we got a whole bunch of them people coming over there trying to change. So we did put up a little fence, and I thought, hey, look, I'm busy. I like Arizona too. So if you come to my jail, I'm putting you in pink. Maybe that'll keep a few away. Not really. Oh yeah, and by the way, I like to kick it with Steven Seagal once in a while. Remember that guy? Yeah. You're like, yes, sir. And you're like, but now, constitutional carry, folks. Yeah, how long is that gonna last? They just keep eating away, and the other bad. Oh, daddy's like, hey, I heard they up on the city council there in Coeur d'Alene. You got to look out for them polar bears. You get out of line, they eat you. But they got a whole bunch of these up there, Nick. You might want to head up on that away. You get in a little trouble. You probably ain't never gonna be like mayor or anything. But if you're cool, maybe I'll meet you up there, get a little cabin after that old crazy Warpath lady died. You know. But you're like, meet me up in Coeur d'Alene. You're like, well, that might have been a good idea, except you remember all them crazy guys from Hollywood? Remember, hey, all the Brad Pitts, they like the gals that cut off the cheese over the. Yeah, them guys they must be on some really good stuff. And you're like, take me to your dealer and all that. And you're like, oh, you got that filthy dog porn industry? Yeah, they've been flying into Idaho, taking that place over for about the last 50 years. So they about got that place too. And you don't want to go to Wyoming. Remember Darth Vader? He's still alive. And his daughter is a lesbian. Okay? You don't want to go there. Like I said, I never felt like I'd really fit in Alabama. Okay, I talked to a couple of them. Not only are they polar bear, but yeah, it's a little different down that way. Like I said, I thought maybe I might fit in Louisiana a little bit, but Never did get a duck call. Florida is nice and warm, but they got all them animals, them things that go like this, and all them big. Remember we talked about that, them real big snakes. So don't ever get too tired on your deck, because once that snake get on, I mean, it's hot and it's sticky, and you're like, well, Arizona, New Mexico, and I'm like, well, you remember them? You remember them black people on the boat? You already know what the boom boom. Well, I'd say somewhere from about, I don't know, somewhere above Sacramento, and you kind of go east a few hundred miles, and then maybe go down a little bit, kind of come a little bit of Nevada there, and then you cut over with like you can go under Utah there, but then you go over a little bit, kind of go down, you're heading toward Texas, pretty much all of Texas there. And I suppose you stop when you get to about Alabama, and then go straight down. Yeah, we got these guys like this. There's a whole lot of them. Yep, and they're really pissed off, and they think that land is theirs. You know it, and they got the boom boom too now. Yeah, yeah, it's a little dangerous down that way. And y'all mad at old Trumpy for talking about MS-13? Yeah, for sure. So unless you got a lot of this and you got a couple half the kingdoms on the horn, I wouldn't go too far down that way. And plus they running out of water. It's real dry down there. So, like if we go to war and you start getting thirsty, you know that helicopter old Trumpy run around in. You're gonna probably need one of them. So, yeah, I like it up here. We got all the four seasons and all that, but as you can see, they're not making it easy. I mean, every day, every moment I talk, I'm starting to think my odds are better out there with old Warpath. You know, that crazy Native American Warpath lady. I'm thinking I might be able to say sorry to her and keep my mouth quiet and forget about that governor and stay out of Schwarzenegger's way. You know, he mostly up north. And my daddy, see, he's still north. You know, he getting up there, but see, we got this thing called gray hair, right? Remember how the Bible says that's the crown of our gray. Those guys are still supposed to be running things as long as they're pretty nice. Usually they tell the polar bears what to do, and they like them little white balls still. And so, you know, if you could, you probably, you maybe ain't gonna make a whole lot of money, but you might get by. Hold on, son, sit tight. Let me make a couple phone calls. So as you can see, I'm very balanced. And that is gonna, your Ted Cruz's, your Jason Lewis's. By the way, yeah, you wanna die. Man. He had a commercial Second Amendment, him and his wife. Oh, half the kingdom there. Huh? Ex St. Paul police officer. Oh, Leslie, tell that story. Yeah, that's a good one. I remember that one. Uh, you say, well, them Ted Cruz and I mean, so they because of the moderate that I am and willing to Not because of my how much money I got, just they pretty much I'm a deplorable, right? But I mean I'm probably way more when I'm good. I mean in terms of family values and that stuff, it's just they're talking fiscally and that stuff mostly. When you think conservatism, you're thinking, you know, I'm thinking, hey, I'm gonna split this match here, and then y'all are gonna do that, and I'm going twice as long because I'm like I can make two matches out of this. To me, that's what conservatism. It ain't about. It ain't here about. I don't know what they're talking about. But old Jason Lewis, huh? His half the kingdom. They showed a. You want to talk about Mark? Mark, don't mess with that. They had a commercial where they were he was trying to say, hey, vote for me if you like that, if you think it's a bad idea to limit you know old Peterson up there, he can only give you one of them pieces of paper once a month to buy a gun. Yeah, if you think that's a problem, you might want to vote for me. Cause you see my gal here, we out here shooting, and he takes a couple shots, right? And she's like, now that woman, okay? I'll bet you she might have a couple of them sticks laying around because she seemed like a really nice gal. But she's like, Mark, pretty good, but because she's a cop. She's like, in a really nice feminine voice, right? Not one of these. And she's like, oh, honey, let's keep practice. You better keep practicing. It was funny. Now, if you could get, if you said Jason Lewis, who is this guy? And he'd be like, send a polar bear in. So, but I like him. I listen to him quite a bit. But I don't agree on everything, and that really upsets people on everywhere. And I guess I'd just rather be that way, be myself. So you know, and I've always said, like, no, whether you got what you got in your pockets, boy. How you doing, all? Hey, whether you got nothing in your pockets or you got a whole bunch in your pockets, you ought to be the same person. And basically, yeah, your toys might be a little nicer, but if it changes you to the point where you're doing things or buying more things and all this here and that, then yeah, you're probably maybe that's what they're talking about, mammon, right? But if you're using it to help people and um, Leslie likes to tell this story out there in the barber shop. This was one shit. So maybe I can get on her good side again because I had to tear her apart there to explain to her so that people would know I'm not crazy and I didn't do anything for sure this last time. She kind of got one of these problems here. We all did her do, but she's pretty mean and she don't forgive me. So I had to be really mean. I'll tell her. Maybe this will help get her going. She talks about how lucky my daddy Marky Mark is. See, when I guess she was a pretty decent looking gal. The whole swimsuit thing. And well, if you look at Tammy, you know, remember all them friends running the go karts, and yeah, I wasn't getting near any. I mean, I got within 6 feet, but that was about it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, look, Leslie, mostly 'cause you got to have a lot of that, no matter what, out there. See, forget it. Unless you're my dad, you've been out there for 50 years and you know a couple of them guys still. Yeah, you can get by if you know a couple of them guys with them white balls. You might make it. But they're getting rid of all them too, because pretty soon they're gonna. I think they try say they're gonna start eating the polar bears or something. I don't know. Look, you say Okay. Leslie tells a story about how just before they moved out there and she got with my dad, well, in St. Paul, she dated a St. Paul police officer. And you wonder why I'm wondering about Home Depot? And you wonder why I'm wondering about how this guy make that police report? I'm about to tell you. So I guess she was pretty good looking. Yeah, remember that? When she got out there and they want to take a picture and all that, put it in a magazine? Yeah, she was probably pretty good looker. But I'm saying, you know, and anyways, she liked to tell a story about how just before she got with Marky Mark and they moved out to California because the market went bad and old Kessler, I mean, that guy couldn't get a date at the Bunny Ranch with 10 grand. Even if he had, what you got in your pocket? 10 grand. We can't help you. You know that? So she was dating some St. Paul police officer. And if you know anything about that, it go back as far as it go back, right? So, yeah. Yeah, you know it, polar bears. So you're saying so there's this story where she was dating this cop for quite a while. You remember how the guy that might see a girl for 10 years and finally get the I mean he got cut him off and he might finally get the guts to go over and tell her, hey, I got these Bibles here in the plastic and if you you give me your number, I'll go get you a real black pink. Eventually, we're gonna start talking about that dress and them little sticks like that. That's not. Don't get too. I ain't getting. Don't remember that. And then all of a sudden, you got polar bears eating you. Okay, well, if that's happening to me, and you're wondering why I'm a little concerned, because here's so what. This is what happened with Leslie. So she, I don't know how long, but enough for this guy. I mean, you think it. So apparently, she decided she was done with him and gonna go with Marky Mark. Remember that thing? When women are done, they're done, and you know it. And it kind of freaks some guys get a little excited, like go, you know. But see, when you're on the St. Paul Police Department and you got one of them little cars that with the lights on the top, oh, and you get this 357 here, and you pretty much, if anybody ever tries to hurt you, you get to shoot them and go home and eat dinner and stuff like that. Not worry about it. Remember that? And you kind of like, yeah, you're like, and all them guys with the little white balls are telling you what to do with that thing. Remember that? Yeah. And so she called him up and said, "We're done. I'm going to live with. We're going out to get." This guy was like somewhere up in North Branch, like maybe by the county market, by that butcher, that the milkman butcher over that way, driving his car around, but up that way, if you go up to North Branch, take a left, and then on the right there, on the left is Tanger. Not, yeah, he was probably somewhere up in there driving his St. Paul police. I mean, he's kind of far from St. Paul, don't you think? I'd say he's kind of far from St. Paul, but I don't know. And then when he realizes Leslie isn't up there, or Leslie, she was probably either turned around or was not there, or he didn't know where Leslie wasn't up there. So he turns around and he drives about 500 miles back down to St. Paul with the lights blaring. Nobody's like there's been no call to 911 or and then he's got about three of his buddies doing the same thing. Remember that? And he's like, well, I got these lights here in this car and these guns, and my friends, they all got the same thing. And my girlfriend just said she's leaving and she's packing her stuff. And so me and my buddies, we're driving 500 miles down 35W to get to her house. And when we get there, We're going to block this thing off like the SWAT team's coming in. We're calling in the track and the Bearcat. And she's not going nowhere. Remember that? And I'm going to go inside with my gun, and my boys are going to be back here. And, honey, we're going to talk. Look, we're going to talk about this before you go. Remember that? Coffee. And so he's thinking, yeah, I'm a cop, but if I sit here for too long, I understand them guys that like them little white balls, they're going to start asking questions. And so I probably got maybe 15, 20 minutes here before I got to send the SWAT team somewhere else. And they have a talk, and she says, I'm done. I don't want to be married to a cop. And this here, out here, all this kind of has something to do with it, whatever you're all doing right at that head. Nothing but that. And she's like, yeah, I think me and old Mark, he kind of, and he kind of liked the little white ball mostly. The guys that they think he know how to play with that little white ball pretty well. And I hear they got a lot of sun and it's warm, about 70 degrees all the time. I'm done with you and I'm going that way. And he said, I think I got another 15 minutes before them little guys with the white balls are going to say anything. And so he keeps talking to her. He tries to talk to her. And finally he realizes that he's not going to have her, and he'd like to keep his job. So he says, I better get out of here before the neighbors start wondering what the hell all these cop car sirens and guns are doing here. So, and then they basically, not long after that, they moved out to California. So, if you're wondering why I'm thinking there's not a black police officer in Horace Lake, and how in the flip did you get that police report there to old Hoyer? And why my lawyer? Yeah, I got some questions. Okay. But hey, remember? We're really just trying to the Bible says, live a quiet life, but looks like we got to make a little noise before we get back there and say, hey, this here is all I need. Without half the kingdom, at least you got this. No, we don't do this so we get half the kingdom. We've been doing this for 30 years, so we're like, hey, what about all that seek the righteousness of God? And how do I get my Lord to tell me what's really going on, or how to get people to do all the stuff they're supposed to do without wanting to punch me in my nose just because I read this mostly? Yeah, like the naked ladies a little bit. And you got it. Out that way, there's a little white balls, and my knee ain't so good anymore. But I don't need that knee because the fishing is pretty good out of that away about 4 hours. Something like that. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna go. What happened? How did the live chat come on? How did that happen? That's cool. It just came on. Yeah. So the next, what's gonna happen next, since this just appeared out of nowhere and I tried to turn it on yesterday. What's gonna happen eventually here. We're gonna get some trolls, and it probably ain't gonna be half the kingdom. It's probably gonna be some undercover lettered agents trolling me like little tiny Timmy on that iPad, trying to get me angry and say something stupid. So I'm aware of it. And even if that's the case, I don't mind doing a little bit because eventually it just makes me look good when I show them how good my behavior is, and then they get bored. And now that I said that, they probably won't do it anyway. So hopefully you'll have the kingdom. Maybe we can talk to half the kingdom here. That'll be all right. No, I'm just playing. Anyways, I know I'm an old guy, but I'm still trying to go up there to the heaven and not have a polar bear eat me, and I don't know what else to do. Cause my daddy, he really don't, you know. There's just he's been out there a long time, and I'm not. Tammy's his daughter, right? So you know what Leslie thinks of me. Yeah, I mean my odds ain't real good, you know. I never did get into actuary and stuff like that, but you know, there's not real good odds of that away with the. But I'd like, you know, hey, God's in the business of miracles, and if that's part of God's will, I always wanted family. How I could possibly reconcile with old Woolpath. I mean, yeah, that would take God. And then if you got to have the kingdom and she ain't interested in any of that out that way, anyways, well, forget that, right? But if we don't take care of these polar bears, forget everything. And if you keep dividing Jerusalem, you can forget it probably too, according to what I've been reading. Remember, I read a little bit of this here. So you got to come up with a peace agreement that does not divide Jerusalem. And again, why we need to keep, just because we're afraid of a couple million, I mean, they got a lot of them, and they keep threatening everybody. And I'd say, wouldn't that be part of altruism? If it's okay for them to kill the Jews and Christians and stuff, I mean, if we had, you know, can't we like make? I mean, I could make peace real fast. Let me in there. I'll take care of it, and then we can all go. The polar bears can eat the bratwurst, and I can go fishing. But for some reason, they don't want to. It's the Jews and the Christians are the enemy. Oh. So it's a tough balance to balance. You know, it says, "Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not kill." How do you defend your wife from getting raped by this, and live a life where you feel like you're trying to get everybody at least food and water, and not have obscene profits, and then be a patriot at the you know, because this my country's before I even thought about what was going on. My country was great to me, and I still think it is. I think we got some problems, obviously, but I think we could try to fix them. But what do you do? Because it just seemed like whatever you do, they keep lying, or they're up to some ulterior motive, and then they get some biases, and you can't even have a lawyer that'll tell you what's going to happen if you plead guilty to that. Or you got guys that just want to do this, or there's so much going on. Don't I mean, at the end of the day, all I got is this, because they just keep making stuff up. And now in order to have even a living chance, I gotta keep explaining myself. I don't know what to do. I guess it's like I say, prepare. I try to prepare like I'm gonna live for another 50 years. That Jesus is not gonna come back in my lifetime, or I'm not gonna die. And I gotta figure out a way to survive, or I'm ready. I'm ready for Jesus to come out of that sky in the next moment, by everything that's come out of my mouth that's true, accurate, with integrity. Two, somebody randomly murders me, or a polar bear eats me, or whatever, you know? So be ready to go, right, at any moment for whatever reason, whether it's health, heart attack, Breitbart, zapper or natural cause or whatever. Stay in the Word. Be ready to go to trial with God and Jesus and the devil. Don't get naked, drunk. Don't drink any. And if you're at my point where, if I don't want nothing to do with it. So not even a sip for me. Because I already got them. They're already coming at me enough. You imagine if they could say that? Don't get naked. Don't get too angry. Let old Tiny Timmy play with his little jollies over there on that iPad. I don't care. I got these other ones here. You ain't wasting no more of my time. Stay in here. Be honest. Love people. Agree with people like that. Let's get them water. Let's get them food. Let's make sure people are warm and not suffering as much as possible. Don't go flying around on jets just to Lolita Island, just on the Lolita Express with goats and $1,000 just because you got what you got and you ain't worried. And then when you get caught, you got that good old boy parachute, right, too? So you're going to be all right. You're going to hide out on Lolita Island until finally old Never Agains really get sick of it and they start eating all the polar bears because they got the Boom Boom 2 mostly. Yeah, they don't got them nuclear codes, but I guess the atomic clock is getting pretty close, but they're probably going to be able to back that up a little bit if they can do a peace deal. But don't divide Jerusalem. You'd think that would be so obvious. Why? How they think they're going to get away with that? Why they would include any peace deal that divides East Jerusalem? If they ain't planning on it, they're not part of it. They're not trying to create a problem. And you said, well, they've been letting them. Yeah, I don't know how you'd stop it now. I mean, it's playing right into that abomination of death. I mean, you're doing something that's clearly it's not going to work. The Jerusalem is the eternal home of God, Jesus, and the Israelites, the Jewish people. And those are God's people that sits here. Yeah, I mean, if you think you're going to convince me it's the Muslims, no, never. And if you want to murder me and agree with them, and by the way, hey, homosexuals and all you atheists, go over there and see how well you get along in their country. They're only acting this way here because they don't got the numbers, most of them. Remember that old infidel? They get to lie to the infidel. It's not a sin. Did you read that part? Oh, they're just mostly. Oh, yeah, they are. Ahmed seemed like an all right guy. When I seen him up there, the line on Forest Lake, he looked a little different. Had a little different something going on in his eyes, though. Everybody's doing something for something, right? That's what they say. Everybody has sympathy for these Muslims as these Islamists march around the world. And you say, well, we just got to do a little bit to keep the peace. But then why are you separating Jerusalem? And that's the other thing. Think about it. In my backyard, the college treating me that way, literally. I rode my bicycle around there 1,000 times. This was America. And I'm a Christian that supports Israel. And you've got some guy that was never born here, hates America, is only here 9 times out of 10 to fool you into thinking he's just a nice guy like everybody else. Yeah, they're nice. Some of them are nice people, a lot of them. Just regular people. But go read the Quran. And then you add all this other stuff. Oh, you get a problem, Nicky boy. What you gonna do? Man, I'm keeping this thing close. God got my attention. And so if he take me, what you mean? because I ain't that smart, so I don't know beyond the basics, right? And they're masters. They're experts at deception and making you think you're signing a good deal or making you think you're the problem. All the while they continue to march on with their initiatives. And then the next thing you know, you're like, well, where did Breitbart go? How did they get rid of that one guy? Where are all my friends? And then they got all this other stuff. Now they're doing it to you too. I don't know. But I mean, if we're where we're at in history with being able to blow it, I mean, literally, it wouldn't take. What was this I saw? A nuclear football scare? I'm gonna have to check that out. Maybe I saw the headline. They say what's going to happen, right? And this will be because of all the hacking. Yeah, it's secure, but it's still a computer system, so it can be hacked. What's going to happen is there's going to be a fault, or AI is going to detect something, and another country is only going to have a few moments to decide whether Kim Jong Un is actually sending a missile. And remember that old divide Jerusalem? We're like, hey, if you come after Israel, we'll just blow the whole thing up then, because you ain't having this. And you're like, so they got a few moments to decide whether you're going to do. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you got all these missiles shooting each other. Most of us, unless you're in the underground bunker with the goats, and you got a lot of this here. Yeah, a few of them might survive. Most of us are going to have to go to our maker. Hmm? And so I want to be ready at any moment with nobody to trust at all and everybody lying about me. So, I mean, and I'll be honest, at this point, why would you? I'm an old guy, kind of stupid and slow, right? With this here, why? And we're at the end times. Why would anybody care? You ugly. You're like worse than Sleepy Joe, and now you're talking because we almost looked like I don't know what they're doing. You'd think that testing would be done by now if it wasn't the devil, right? So I'll report you decide, but as far as that, I mean, what and that truck going down 35, you can't. Who can I trust? Really? I mean, you think whoever let me get my medicine, you think I'd be able to trust them? Because somebody got me some medicine. But then again, how do you? Maybe they did it so I would trust them. I mean, I don't know who to trust with all this going on. You can't get nobody on the phone no more. Daddy's house is on fire. That guy upstairs, all he wanna do, they don't care about nothing when they get old. Hey, do whatever you want with Nikki, but just leave me alone my ESPN, let me look at my porn. I don't feel bad, nothing. Got no conscience anymore. Don't worry about nothing. This is America, don't you remember? Huh? Don't I deserve to do whatever I want? No, you don't. We all got to be stewards of the planet. Remember that global perspective they've been teaching me for about the last 20 years? Yeah, I learned a thing or two. So I know I'm kind of slow, but I'm starting to think. Every good kite gotta have his yarmulke on, don't you think? Probably. Hey, unless you're trying to, hey, you said, well, you're pretty slow, boy. Well, I'm starting to think 'cause this is way more evil. There's a reason why they gave me 5 different stories, and I never got the truth. Everybody's doing something for a reason. And I ain't that smart, but I've been reading that there, and he's an equal opportunity. He's like an equal opportunity employer. He don't care where you come from, how much money you get. He's saying, hey, God made man and John Cope made him even, eh? I made man and my son there, Jesus, made him. I don't care. And that makes pretty good sense where we're at now, where, hey, this whole thing could end any moment. I'd say, hey, I'm not being very smart. That there, probably, we're talking about odds. Hey, you want to go with nothing? So, hey, I can't believe, look at out there, all them pretty little flowers. I mean, you look at that old Hector Kingdom and you can't figure out there's a God. Okay. But if you're thinking, well, just in case, because you ain't got nothing to lose, you might want to think about that there, because them Jewish people down there, yeah, God's people and all that, He allowing their mind to be blinded or something. They can't see. That's what they say. Yeah, they like to bring in the SWAT team too for some reason. So this seemed like a grander, a lot more evil than they ever told me, and they was just waiting. Remember that? Sin croucheth at the door. You got my attention. And so if you think I'm anything gonna happen, I mean, you might not be able to stop the SWAT team if they decide the evil gets together enough and they say, we just wanna, you don't know. But just have peace in this here and knowing that you've told the truth and that there ain't a whole lot you can do. And so, as long as, but remember, even you gotta, but hey, if God's gonna allow all them starving people God allows so many things that most people are like, how could there be a God if He allows that? Yeah, I got some questions too, trust me. But it's more rational and logical to believe there is a God when you look at over there at Hector Kingdom. Huh? Oh boy, and then you get a naked lady and you don't believe in God? Come on. It's better to believe in this here something than to just, what are we just going to fry up and that's it? And where did this fish, how did this fish appear if we evolved from this fish? Or how about this spontaneous combustion we was talking about? Where did that big boom come from? It just happened? And now we're about to go with a real big hot one. It's going to be a real hot boom. And we're all going to be gone any moment. Or somebody could come in and shoot you. Come in the window, some tweaker, some punk across the street. The SWAT team, you never know. Hey, you better get in here. I'm just saying. Why take a chance? Unless you're outright serving the devil. Why anybody would take a chance and not get in here? Yeah, and you're like, whoa. See, I mean, you got my attention. It can't get any more than that. So if you think you're gonna get a guy where I'm at, this ain't old Amarillo Slim Scam straight. I'm coming to fire you, and we'll see if we get you reorganized. No, this is life and death, for real, right? I'm starting to think this is way more evil, and they kept people in the dark. And then when you get into getting into the naked and drunk and you get a little too angry, well then old God up there, he say, hey, have at him, devil, he yours or something. I don't know. Because they ain't telling me. I get 5 different stories. Never did get the truth on anything. But everybody else seemed to know what's going on. And I'm just an old guy with his faith in Jesus Christ. And I don't care what to do. Because if you don't get that drunk naked, you can't do much more than try to be kind, speak the truth. Speak the truth. That was a church in Golden Valley I went to a few times with Tommy Rogan. You want to talk about Tammy Faye? Yeah, they had some Tammy Faye, rich Tammy Faye's up in that place. I wasn't real comfortable there. And they had one of them. You say, yeah. You say, well, what about old Creflo Fistful of Dollars? Well, what's that one guy, Benny Hinn? Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I seen, and you wonder why some of these people, these atheists, are like, hey, I'm all right. Hey, y'all can have that Bible. I'm cool. And you got old Benny Hinn running around, fistful of dollars. Boom! Everybody falling over. I mean, the last time, hey, if he's so good, hey, Benny, I mean, if you're so good in the healing business, I got a couple of hospitals I want to take you over to. Let's see how good you are. You in the faith healing business? You say, well, what do you say I take you out of that church and you go heal some of these people? Yeah. I mean, I ain't really ever seen it. This they say you can pick up a snake and not get, hey, don't ask me to pick up no snakes. All right. And all this, I don't know about that, but I know that the bottom line is belief in Jesus Christ and the death, burial, and resurrection. Hey, forget all that other stuff. All you got to do is that he who believes in the Son, God, shall be saved. Hey, if you're a dumb cosmic, you don't have to have a seventh beggar PhD. We're about ready to fry up like an egg. I mean, why not try? What's the worst thing is it wasn't true? Okay, so we die. But if it is true, maybe you stay out of that hellhole they're trying to put me in. And you get to live forever. You get a new body. Oh, you want to talk about them snack burgers again? And you get to hang out, and there ain't gonna be none of this or none of this. And we all gonna get along. Nobody's gonna go boom boom anymore. Huh? Oh, maybe they say, I don't know. I'm not sure. Remember? Hey, if old Benny Hinn, if some of this here ain't happening and somebody reported that you ain't gonna get y'all half the kingdom up there, hey, you don't know for sure. There might be. Oh, can you imagine if maybe there was just a little mistake in one of them words there and you get to spend eternity with a brand new body with half the kingdom? Hey, cheat, let's go. Fire it up. Why not try it? What do you got? You got the magic carpet ride with them. I mean, and stop worrying about whether Mitt Romney want to wear his magic underwear. Hey, he don't even drink coffee. Don't worry about his underwear. And as far as them, hey, like what's them other the J Dubs? Hey, you don't get any more straight laced than them J Dubs. You ain't find many of them in the liquor store. Hey, Catholics, what's the difference between the back? Oh yeah, they liked it. Brandy and all that. What about that? Oh, you mean them J Dubs? They don't drink or smoke, but the only thing is they just are. They kind of take that thing about Jesus being the Son of God a little more because it's in there about 50,000 times, and they're kind of like, we ain't so sure about that Trinity. Yeah, them guys. Really good people? Yep. You mean they don't like to go out and shoot and kill people? Yep. Yeah, them ones. They're all right. I'll hang out with them. They cool. Hey, they still believe in Jesus. Hey, I'm not gonna sit around arguing. Hey, so, I can't be with you. And I got this Muslim guy over here. I'm about to get arrested by it. Where's that Kingdom Hall at? Yeah, we going to the Downs. So, yeah, I gotta go here soon for a while. I gotta clean up. Gotta fry that egg. And I gotta comb my hair for half the kingdom, 'cause you know what I mean. Like when you get up in my age and you ain't so funny and you ain't so good looking, what you got to do, son? Remember this. You got to learn to keep your hair and shave for it, and then work on them. You know them that 6 pack abs of fireman abs of steel. Yeah, that'll help a little bit. 'Cause you can't keep up with the all them stud muffins. You got to get in here and let God handle it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because we got hope. Remember that? We got a little hope. Y'all don't. I'm gonna get so sick of talking. They're gonna be like, I'm gonna go to church, and they're gonna finally get around to me. Remember that? Not like going. I'm gonna go to church, and I ain't gonna be saying a whole lot, and I'm gonna be sitting in the back listening to the pastor. They finally gonna get around. Hey, old Nicky boy, you been coming here a while. Will you get up here and tell us, what Jesus did for you? What's your testimony? I mean, you like naked ladies or drink a beer? Basically, all I'm gonna do is say, honey, come on, stand up for me, will you? And they're gonna look around, and I'm just gonna be like, hey, y'all see me? Look at this here. Yeah, yeah. All right. Now take a look at this here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now look at me again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we see. That there is my wife. Mm-hmm. And guess what? She lets me touch her once in a while. Can you believe that? And they're gonna be like, really? And she puts a dress on and plays with them little sticks for you? Yep. Yeah, she married me like, oh, boy, that's all you need to know. And if you don't believe in God, all this other stuff I'm gonna tell you, that ain't gonna help. Okay? Y'all have a nice day. That's gonna be my testimony. No, maybe not. Sure would be nice though, huh? Oh, so there you back to serving God. Hey man, I'm 50 some years old, man. I wanna You say, boy, you're desperate. Yeah, well after 20 years of being cool, you're like, hey, I ain't so you know. And you're like, this is boring. There's no purpose. We're about to blow up. They're making all this up about me. I drank all the alcohol. I ate all the food. I've talked to all the tiny Timmys controlling my computer. I got as naked as I needed to. And I'm done getting pissed off. If I ain't, if I can't get half the kingdom on the horn, forget it. Do what you want. I don't care. Because other than that, I'm just going to sit around and read my Bible. We got enough guys to do the balance sheet. That's all you get, really. Because you can't find a Lincoln lawyer. He don't like. He never. I guess he never did like you. You can't. You can't. Them tiny Timmys don't want you to use your computer no more. And pretty soon they're probably gonna come with this. So at least you'll still have some of it up here. And just make sure you never take that when you get a chance. You see what I'm saying? That's what's up. Yeah, because old Gregory Troy, he don't want to talk to me either. It's funny. That's a pretty good. Yeah. Now I know I didn't pay the co-op because it crashed. I figured we'd call a salvage and come up. But it's funny for a guy that's gotten all that stuff written about him, who's just a little annoying, can't sit still and won't shut up. But Tammy Diedrich, she didn't give it yet up. To be not married, uh, not one of them guys with the little white balls and have polar bears wanting to eat you, all 'cause you liked a couple naked ladies. And you're trying to tell me there's no evil out there? And it's all because of me? Like, I know I'm ugly and stupid and all that, but for some reason, I just don't feel like I deserve all this. But I'm hungry. So who's gonna if I just kind of be nice? Who's gonna who? Can I get a salad? Who's got the soup and salad? I'm going there. That'll help make my decision. And then not eat me after and let the polar bear eat me. Where they at? I'm going that way. You can have everything else. Just don't. You try to take this, I might give you a little resistance. But that's about it. 'Cause you know that thing about as long the authorities and all that crap. Well, I'm not a polar bear, and I don't have a bunch of guys with sirens and guns behind me. So, well, I don't know if I do, but I don't think they're my friends. I kind of picked up on that. And so, but if you try to take this from me, I might have a little issue. But other than that, I'm probably pretty nice. Let me have this here and some soup and sandwich. And as long as you don't ask me to do anything with this here. Don't. I'm already saying, look, this here non-negotiable. If you can find something for me to do, or obviously if you want all you want me to have is butter knives. I mean, obviously you're already thinking we ain't got nothing for this guy to do. Less jobs because you keep sending them over to North Libya on the telephone. Oh, little Timmy keeps silencing the mic. Oh, imagine that. Can you imagine if that iPad was the only thing the guy had to get in his bank account, and you got some little pinhead tiny Timmy trying to tell you, hey, it's going to be like 2 weeks till we. There's nothing wrong with that thing, and we know your life is. Oh, and by the way, it doesn't even need a battery. We just charge it from right here, or we drain the battery because we don't. I'm Tiny Timmy, and I'm a little prick. Yeah, and you're like, well, this sucks. Like I can't get my bank account, I can't get food. Well, and now they want me to do one of these here so I can buy or sell, and then I go to hell. And then they're probably gonna kill me anyways. As soon as they get that in you, they don't get. I mean, that's it. Kind of like the naked, drunk, angry. Once they get. Oh, I mean, you want the SWAT team with the rifles? I mean, what's the difference? You when you do that, you're going to hell. That's a one-way ticket to hell, to the pits of hell. Remember that place? Now we ain't talking about Gehenna or Hades, the garbage dump. We're talking eternity of burning sulfur, where the worm dieth not. Gnashing of teeth. Remember that? Hmm? Remember the old guy come over? He even tried to say, "Hey, there's a divide," and he was so hot. He just said, "Would you let my brother come and just put one little drop of water?" Remember that? You wonder why a guy might be borrowing somebody's hose on a 150-degree summer day outside of Schumacher Park? Maybe. He was thirsty, and God said, nope. And then the guy was like, hey, okay, fine. You're going to burn me and make me do this forever? Can I at least tell my family? Nope. See y'all. But if you go ahead with that, they got no reason to keep you around. None. And that's pretty much what they're waiting for you to do that. If you won't get naked for them, be the goat, and you won't get drunk and piss God off. Yeah, that's the truth. But once you do that, then they've got a license. You want to talk about a license to kill because you've already made your allegiance to the devil, to the abomination. God says you cannot do this no matter what. I don't care. I'll forgive you for all kind of stuff except for blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. And remember that part about if you take this here or in here, you don't get into heaven. Yeah, it sounds pretty serious. And then once you do that and I don't like you anymore, I don't care what them polar bears do. Yeah, we going to the downs. Okay? You get the idea, right? Are we making a little progress here? I hope so. Because you don't know what's going to happen in 5 minutes. If a woman in Ramsey, Minnesota, some tweaker come in and blow her brains out and she ain't never touched a drink in her life, hey, look, God could pull your card anytime. What do old boys in the hood say? Pull your card. Hey, God could pull your card anytime. And if you're getting old and up there a little bit like me, you're like, hey, is there any get out of jail free cards here left? Hey, where have the kingdom? Because all the rest of this stuff is boring. And now they're trying to kill me? Murder me? Come on back, Jesus. Will you come back and sort this out, please? So, anyways, thank you for this time, Lord. Thank you for I ask you to be over this video and be over the words that come out of my mouth to not be offensive and to be a witness to you, Lord, in Jesus' name. And I ask that you be over my day and I pray for half the kingdom that you would have no stress and that her day would go good and she wouldn't worry about me or the future. And I pray over my family. I pray for my enemies, Lord. I pray that I can I get that virus, the shot, Lord? The one with the baby parts in it, I'll take that one in Jesus' name, please. Just kidding. I want the virus shot, Lord. And I ask you to organize my time and balance these videos with my work and my school, Lord. And so that I can keep moving forward and not spend too much time spinning my wheels on something that don't matter, don't go towards your kingdom, Lord. And that you help me read the word and realize that it doesn't matter what's going on, that you keep me focused on you, Lord, praying without ceasing, Lord, focusing on your will for my life, whatever that is in my small brain, in my small little world, that I'll be convicted of being a Christian and that only, Lord Jesus, and caring for the Jewish people, Lord, and being a godly person, Lord, and that you truly bring a life worth living. And that you bring me and half the kingdom together forever, Lord Jesus, and help Mama and Tommy enjoy the rest of their time, whatever it is. Help them have good attitudes and help us get along and have a relationship, and that just your will be done in the United States and the world, Father God. That you help me throughout my day today, in Jesus Christ Almighty name, Amen. Lord willing, I'll be back. We'll clean up, eat, do some stuff, maybe come back and read the Bible. I'll see y'all later.